Hi everybody, my name is Jo and I love to read. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my July and August wrap up. This is also the first wrap up that I'm doing since baby, or the first sit down video. I've done some vlog clips but I haven't actually tried to film a full video. So we've got someone on the ground here who's supposed to be taking a nap but does not seem to be sleeping, so I'm going to see whether he is happy and will maybe drift off to sleep while I'm talking. The first book that I finished is Onyx Storm by Rebecca Yarros. I have some really nice memories associated with this now. I was reading it in early labour in between contractions and then had to stop when it got a bit crazier and then have continued it on during breastfeeding. There also should be a vlog that is possibly out before this because I finished filming it before this because it's in the wrap up. This one continued to be interesting on the fantasy side of things. I absolutely love the world building and the lore in this series. I'm so interested in what the venom is and these different dragon types. I also found going to the different islands was really fascinating as well. It got a little bit repetitive at the end with the different islands, and not that they felt like the same island, but I felt like much of their reactions, even though they were all slightly different because they were different people and cultures, ultimately the bulk reactions from them all was fairly similar, so that was kind of frustrating and not super interesting to read. I really don't know what direction this story is going to go now. Obviously it ended on a cliffhanger as it always does, so I had a really good time. I'm eagerly anticipating the next one, and I definitely recommend checking this out if you like romantasy, and the fantasy elements are also improving as well, which is really good. This is the third book in the Empyrean series. It starts with Fourth Wing, the second one is Iron Flame. Fourth Wing is about a woman named Violet who is having to choose which quadrant she's going to go into. So in this world there are different areas that you enter in as a job. So there's like scribes, there's foot soldiers, there's dragon riders, healers I believe is one as well, and what you pick is all dependent around this war that's been going on for years and years and years. Like their entire lifetime there's been a war, and so everybody's career is around what is going to best help this war. Violet herself wasn't expected to go into the dragon rider quadrant because she has a physical disability that all of her family and her friends basically thought that she would die if she decided to go into the writer's quadrant, and that makes her think, you know what, bitches, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna prove you all wrong. She ends up going into the writer's quadrant instead of the scribe one, though she still does keep her love of books and learning, which I think is really cool. There's romance, there's dragons, there's fighting. I did find Fourth Wing slow in places, but as the series is going on for this one, as I mentioned, it's getting a lot better. So I do still recommend these and I'm excited to continue to read them. The next book I read was Temptation by Karen M. Hopkins. This is also the first in a series, and it is also the next book in the video series that I'm doing, which is reading the earliest added books to my TBR. This is an Amish romance between a girl named Rose and an Amish boy named Noah. So Rose is English. Well, she's actually American, but the Amish call anybody who's not Amish English. Oh, puppy, are you unhappy? I'll just keep chatting a little bit and see how you go. The romantic tension is around whether they're actually going to end up getting together and whether their relationship can survive vastly different cultures, because Noah being Amish and having no intention of leaving his Amish community, he's looking for a wife who is able to take on all the qualities that he's used to in the Amish community, which Rose, in the portion that I read, does not embody and is actually quite naive towards what it would be like. I ended up DNFing Temptation because I just wasn't enjoying it. The romance is super drawn out and a lot of the conflicts is quite the same, and so I was just a bit frustrated and bored, and I also think that I'm probably not the right audience for it. It is a teen romance and I'm 30. Not to say that I can't enjoy younger stuff. Hey guys, Editing Jo here. I just wanted to clarify a bit more what I mean about this. I've called this book juvenile and not mature a couple of times, and I don't really think it's that. It's not that I can't enjoy stuff aimed for teens, it's just that I felt like there was no real connection or build up in the relationship between these two people. And not to say that there can't be relationships based on lust, but there wasn't really a lot of that either. It just felt like all of a sudden
we want to be with each other, because there wasn't much information about who these characters were, what they liked, they didn't like, what their morals and personalities were like. That is probably why I was not enjoying it and not caring so much about it. It was just too long and drawn out for a couple that I didn't really believe in or know anything about or care about. So I think that's more my issue. And it just took me a little bit to understand that with a bit of hindsight. I do hope with other books that I sit and realise that I'm going to possibly DNF them to work out why, identify why they're not pulling me in. So hopefully maybe one day I'll get to that point. I'm like trying to as a reader, but it's not always obvious.
Now I have to look at my Kindle to see what the next ones that I've been reading, because then I went off and did a whole host of books in this challenge that I'm doing. Oh, I think I've deleted the samples. Crap. I took advantage of the fact that I'm reading on Kindle right now and decided to download the samples instead of actually paying for the book, because I wasn't sure if I was going to enjoy them, and I did end up DNFing the next couple of books. Oh, that reminds me, because I actually read one that was not in the challenge. I started to try and read Gardens of the Moon by Eric Stevenson, the first book in the Malazan series. I have a physical copy up there, but then I also, again, breastfeeding, so I bought a copy on my Kindle and continued to read that. I have tried to read started to read Gardens of the Moon before and gave up because I was finding it too complicated. Well, not too complicated. I don't know. It's weird because it's not like I don't understand what's being said. It's like I've missed half the conversation and so I'm bored. I think I got through to chapter 3 or 4 before deciding to DNF it. I just think it's possibly too complex. Like, I think that's what everybody means with this series, is that you miss half of what's going on because they don't bother to explain it to you. They just kind of sit you in the middle of what's going on. I'm hoping to come back to it one day in like 10, 20 years. I'm hoping to have read the Wheel of Time series before then, and some Joe Abercrombie, and just read a bit more complex things and see how I go with that. I do have 2 more in that challenge that I tried, one before the one that I remember, but I cannot remember what that one was called, and I've oh, The Witch, that's what it is, The Witch one. Woohoo, I remember now. But will this little bunny let me video it? Will he let me do it? I don't know. Mason is in bed right now, and let's see if I can finish this up before he wakes up. He sleeps a bit like all over the place right now because he's only 7 weeks as I'm filming this, so it's just a bit, we don't really know what's going on right now. Witchlands, I think that's what the series is called, but Truthwitch by Susan Dennard. I was really excited to read this because I'd heard it was really good years and years ago from my favourite booktuber at the time, and I was also interested in the different magic systems of the witches because they're all different kinds of witches that can do different things. Unfortunately, I read nearly to the end of the sample and nothing was really gripping me. I was, again, still finding like the idea of the different witches interesting, but the plot itself just wasn't interesting enough to capture my attention. It is a YA book, and the next book that I'm going to talk about that I also DNF'd is also a YA book, so I don't know. I hate to say that a certain genre is not for me because it really depends on the book, but I guess that's okay to say that in general a certain genre isn't for me anymore unless there's an absolute standout in that genre. So I think that's unfortunately the case with YA, which unless it's nostalgic for me, so I'm rereading, or it is an exceptionally good one within that genre, then it's just not for me. And that's what I'm finding particularly with the next book as well. It's a YA and it's just not gripping me. It's nothing that is necessarily bad. These two I don't really know on that more in-depth level why. I just kind of went along and enjoyed them, and I haven't actually analysed particular scenes where I feel myself start to get bored. I haven't actually gone back and looked at that particular scene and seen why it's not interesting to me. The second book that I'm DNFing is The Changeling's Journey. Also, I keep feeling to do this because I DNF'd this one. I'm going to unhaul it. The other book I have to put away is Onyx Storm. I was a little bit, because I'm going to keep this one, loved it, going to keep the series, and it's so gorgeous as a book. You guys see, like, so pretty. The only thing that I am disappointed by is that the sprayed edges are nearly exactly the same as Iron Flames, and then I saw this video by the publisher. They're doing special editions of Fourth Wing in Australia to match the sprayed edges of these two, so it seems like Australia, New Zealand, it's not going to be different sprayed edges every time. They're just going to be the same. So I'm glad that I know that ahead of time, because I was very disappointed that Fourth Wings were so different to Iron Flames, but then these were the same. I was like, where's the effort? My shelves are arranged by genre, loosely. Sometimes I have just put things where I've needed to put them as the books demanded. Up here it's all fantasy, but then down here I've got urban fantasy, YA. I used to think that was sci-fi for some reason. Then we've got urban fantasy again, that's romantasy. Then I've got manga, and then we've got romantasy, and then epic fantasy, and then now some graphic novels. So I obviously do not have any room right here for Onyx Storm, and I was putting my overflow books down right at the bottom here. I've got all this junk down here that I could get rid of. I've got some Archie comics here that I may or may not get rid of. I didn't want Onyx Storm to not be with its friends. I really like how all of this stuff is, but I just got the genius idea that I can move some of these up to here. But I'm going to get rid of Monstress. It's funny because I'm like, no, I want to keep it. It is a gorgeous graphic novel, but I got it years ago, and when I read it, it was fine, but it was not good enough that I wanted to buy the next volume, and I haven't in years, whereas I have continued Saga. It's something that I ask for nearly every birthday or Christmas, and I think I might also get rid of these ones, Pole Dancing Adventures by Lena Isabel, and I really enjoyed pole dancing a while ago. It was a lot of fun, but I just don't know if I'm going to do it again. I haven't sold my pole yet. I did lessons locally, and then I bought my own pole. There's not really any room in our house to put it up, and I'm kind of someone that I don't practice it a lot, so even maybe doing that, has that given me enough space? Oh, Nelly. I just don't want to crush anything, but I think that's right. All right, hang on. Perfect. That reminds me, actually, because I did talk about Gardens of the Moon. I'm going to get rid of it. I have it, which this kind of makes me sad, but I don't want to get back into that situation. There should have been a video previously where I basically cleared out my current reads because I kept going back to books that I just weren't enjoying. If I really want this book again, I can get it again. I can buy it again easily, and I also have a copy on ebook purchase, not just to sample the whole thing. I really don't need a copy